Close your eyes. Imagine waking up not to an alarm clock, but to the sound of birds screaming warnings through the trees. There's no roof above you, just a canopy of branches laced with fog. No bed, just packed dirt and woven leaves. You're not on vacation. You're not camping. This is your life, and you're 30,000 years in the past. Welcome to the Paleolithic. Before there were cities or kings or even names, there were people. And just like you, they had to figure out how to make it to the end of the day. Not just survive, but live. So what did cavemen actually do all day? Spoiler, it wasn't just hunting mammoths and painting on cave walls. This is the real story of routine, of survival, of moments that echo through your DNA. Welcome to your channel, InfoTwist Zone.
It starts with light. A sliver of sun cuts through the cave mouth, not the warm kind. It's pale, cold, filtered through mist and stone. A woman blinks awake, her back aches. Beside her, a baby stirs. Nearby, a man stretches slowly, rubbing his shoulders raw from sleeping on rough furs. They've survived the night. That's not nothing. Nights are dangerous, not just because of predators, but because of cold, disease, and the creeping terror of the unknown. Every sunrise means another chance. And so begins the ritual of the morning. There's no shower, no coffee brewing in the corner. The day starts with fire,
Evolution
or rather,
was
the hope
creativity.
that last night's coals are still alive. A hunter leans close, breathing gently onto the ashes. He feeds them dried grass, and then twigs, a flicker, a spark, a flame. Around it, others stir. Children begin poking at bugs in the dirt. Elders hum songs older than language. The scent of smoke mixes with the faint smell of dried meat. Someone unrolls a bundle of bones and rocks, tools for the day ahead. But before anything else, water. A group of women and teenagers begin the quiet walk to the stream. It's not close, it never is, but it's safer at this hour, before predators wake. They walk in silence, eyes scanning the ground for tracks. Every step could bring discovery or disaster. The stream gurgles softly through a clearing, veiled in morning mist. Its banks are trampled with old footprints, some human, some not. As the group approaches, they pause. One crouches to touch a print. It's fresh, too fresh. Their eyes meet, and without a word, they change direction, moving upriver. The risk is real. Saber-toothed cats drink here too, and they're not fond of sharing. At the water's edge, they fill animal skin bladders and scoop handfuls to their mouths. The cold shocks their teeth. A girl kneels to collect plants with wide, flat leaves, herbs known to soothe fever. She learned it from her mother, who learned it from hers. Knowledge passed not through books, but blood. Back at camp, the fire is alive. Smoke spirals into the canopy. Small hands pound dried roots into powder with stone pestles. An old man ties sinew strands to a bow frame, his fingers trembling but sure. He's done this for decades. He won't hunt today, his knees won't let him, but his bows will. Nearby, two young boys mimic the elders. They squat beside a rotting log, tapping it with sticks, laughing when beetles scatter. It's not just play, it's practice, observation, the beginning of tracking. One boy smears mud across his cheek, copying the face paint of a hunter he admires. Imitation is their education. Further off, a woman shapes a lump of red clay into a rough bowl. Her hands move with care, but speed. She's made dozens. This one will carry embers on the next journey. Beside her, a teenage girl scrapes a hide with a flint blade. Her wrists are strong from repetition. The hide will become a sling, a water pouch, or maybe even a tunic for the baby who cried through the night. Life is slow, but never still. Every movement serves a purpose. Every silence holds a lesson. The cave behind them breathes its own rhythm. Inside, the walls whisper old stories of hunts, of losses, of storms survived. Charcoal lines sketch beasts long gone. A handprint, small, childlike, is etched next to a deer with too many legs. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was a monster. But every mark meant something. Because back then, survival wasn't just physical, it was emotional, spiritual, communal. They didn't think in hours, they thought in seasons. They didn't worry about the future, they worried about the next meal, the next rain, the next night. And yet, somehow, in that fragile, fleeting chaos, they built the foundation of everything that would come after. They weren't waiting for civilization. They were becoming it. The sun has now climbed halfway through the sky, and the shadows have shortened. This is the part of the day when choices matter most. For some, it means the beginning of the hunt. For others, it's a time for building, mending, or gathering. Each task is a thread in the web that keeps the tribe alive. A trio of hunters prepares near the edge of the forest. Their faces are marked with ochre and ash, not for war, for focus, ritual, camouflage. One ties a leather strap around his thigh, a lucky charm from his child. Another checks the binding on his spear tip. The third, the youngest, breathes deeply, holding back both fear and excitement. He's never killed. They move in silence, not because it's tactical, though it is, but because words aren't needed. Every snap of a twig, every shift of the wind, every rustle of leaves becomes its own language. The forest speaks, and the hunters listen. They follow the tracks of a boar. It's massive, wounded from a previous attempt, but still dangerous. The trees grow denser, the light dimmer. One hunter motions. He's heard something. They stop, breath held, muscles coiled. Then, a flash of fur. The chase is on. Elsewhere, in a sunlit meadow, women gather roots and bulbs. They know what to look for, subtle signs of edible plants hidden beneath the soil. One woman hums a tune, half remembered from her grandmother. Another scratches tally marks on a flat stone, a primitive inventory system. Her pouch is heavy. It's a good day.
Near the stream, a boy returns with fish, skewered through the gills. He beams with pride. His catch is small, but it's his. An elder nods approval, offering a handful of dried berries in exchange. A silent trade that means everything. And above them all, circling high in the blue sky, vultures glide. They know something the humans don't yet, that not all who hunt will return. Back at camp, a group of elders sits in a circle. They don't speak, they sit, watching the trees, feeling the sun on their faces, hearing the wind. Their bodies may be slowing, but their minds are encyclopedias. They remember floods, fires, migrations, and they watch the youth, seeing in them both mistakes and miracles. This is not idleness. This is legacy. Because in this world, knowledge isn't written, it's witnessed, and it must be passed on before it's lost to the dirt. The hunters return just before dusk. Their bodies are scratched, their feet blistered. One limps, another carries nothing. But the third, the youngest, hauls a bloodied leg of the boar. His eyes are wide with disbelief. He did it. His first kill. The camp greets them without cheers, without applause. Just nods, touches on the shoulder. A silent kind of pride. The boy's mother meets him at the fire, takes the meat, and offers him water. That's the ritual. Survival isn't celebrated like a festival. It's treated like breath, necessary, sacred, expected. As night approaches, everything changes. The air cools quickly. Shadows stretch long and strange. The forest becomes a maze of whispers. The camp becomes smaller, tighter, more human. Fires are fed, skins are wrapped tighter around shoulders. The smell of meat roasting wafts through the air. A child giggles near the flames, playing with a carved wooden figurine, an animal with exaggerated horns and feet too big. It's silly, but sacred. Maybe it's a toy. Maybe it's a god. Maybe both. After the meal, they gather. Not all at once, not by command, but slowly, instinctively, like birds finding the same branch. A woman begins to hum. A man beats a rhythm on a hollowed log. Another stands and begins to move. Not a dance, not exactly, more like a memory being pulled from muscle and bone. His movements tell a story of the hunt, of the forest, of a fall that almost ended him. The children watch wide-eyed, some mimic him. The elders nod. They've seen this story before, told differently by others. This is how culture begins. No books, no camera, just movement, repetition, meaning. And as the stars begin to pierce through the smoky sky, someone tells a story. Not with words, but with sound. A low, rhythmic growl, a rise in pitch, a sudden hush. It's a tale of a great beast, long gone, that once guarded the river. The children cling to their mothers. The fire crackles louder. The story builds, then ends in silence. And that silence says everything. Because in that moment, surrounded by cold and dark, they are not alone. They are a tribe, a people, a past and a future sitting side by side. Tomorrow they'll rise again, to fetch water, to hunt, to build, to worry. But tonight, they remember who they are, together. And slowly, one by one, they sleep. The night deepens. Beyond the fire's flickering edge, the forest breathes. Owls blink silently from branches. Something slinks through the underbrush, too small to be a threat, too clever to be caught. Insects trill. The wind hums against stone. The world doesn't sleep. It just slows. Inside the cave, the tribe lies tangled in furs, limbs over limbs, heartbeats sinking. The baby, finally still, curls against its mother's chest. A boy whispers nonsense to himself, caught between dreams and echoes. An elder stirs once, coughs, then sinks back into stillness. But not everyone sleeps. One man stands at the cave's edge, watching the dark. He holds a spear, not because he expects trouble, but because trouble doesn't ask permission. He watches the stars, recognizing constellations passed down by voice, never drawn. That one means winter is coming. That one means the salmon will return. They are his calendar, his clock, his warning system. The stars blink above, cold and eternal. This is the night watch, a sacred, silent role. His job is not to fight, it's to notice. And in noticing, protect. Hours pass. Eventually, the horizon begins to pale. Not with color, but with softness. The black turns gray. The fire is low now, a red heartbeat in the ashes. He stirs it, adds dry moss, and coaxes it alive again. One by one, others rise, stretching, groaning, re-entering the world. Another day begins, just like the last, but never the same. And this is the truth we often forget when we think of cavemen. They weren't cartoonish brutes clubbing each other over the head. They were parents, artists, healers, children, elders, humans. Their lives were not primitive. They were pure. Every breath mattered. Every mistake cost something. Every moment required attention, intuition, and trust. They didn't have gods yet, but they had awe. They didn't have language the way we do, but they had meaning. They didn't have maps, but they had memory. Of rivers, of animal migrations, of safe places, and sacred ones. So when we ask, what did cavemen do all day? The answer is more than hunt or gather. They lived with purpose, with fear, with joy, and most importantly, with each other. Because in a world that offered nothing freely, not shelter, not safety, not tomorrow, the only thing they truly had was each other.
And that was enough. Far beyond their small cave, another group stirs, across the mountains, across rivers never crossed, in a different land under the same sky. They too wake to cold stone and flickering firelight. They too share meat, stories, silence. And this is the unseen truth of the Paleolithic world. Humans were everywhere. Scattered in pockets, dozens of clans, thousands of faces, all adapting in their own way to ice, to jungle, to desert wind. Some were broad-shouldered and fair-skinned, shaped by cold. Others were lean, dark, and swift, molded by heat. But each of them human, even if they didn't know it yet. They never met, but they shared the same struggle: to eat, to endure, to pass on what they knew. Somewhere deep in a valley, a woman with eyes like flint teaches her child to strike sparks from stone. The child misses, tries again. A spark leaps. She smiles. That spark, that moment, will burn its way into the memory of 100 generations. Across the world, a man builds a trap for rabbits using bent saplings and twisted vine. He learned it from watching animals. Trial and error. Patience. Innovation, born not from luxury, but from hunger. Another paints, fingers dipped in crushed berry and ash, sketching wild antlers and spirals on a rock wall. He doesn't know why he paints. He just knows he must. Something inside him reaches for permanence, for beauty, even in a world where everything dies. These were not wasted lives. These were not gaps in history. This was history, unwritten, uncelebrated, but lived fully. And in every clan, every fire-lit circle, there was someone watching, listening, remembering. Because memory was survival. How to spot poison by the shape of a leaf. Where the bears sleep in summer. What happens when the river vanishes? They didn't have scrolls or smartphones. They had grandmothers and grandfathers and scars, and the steady rhythm of stories told in the dark. Some were myths, some were warnings, some were just to make the children laugh. But every story held a lesson, every lesson a life. And that's what they did all day, these so-called cavemen. They passed the torch, not just of fire, but of knowledge, of wonder, of being human. Midday. The sun beats down, high and relentless. In the open grasslands, heat shimmers above the ground like ghosts rising, but the work doesn't stop. A group hauls stones, not for weapons, but for walls. A windbreak, a place to hide from storms or sleep when the cave gets crowded. These early humans aren't just surviving, they're shaping the land, making it suit them, bit by bit. Nearby, a woman tests a sharp blade of flint. It took hours to carve just right. Each strike had to be perfect, angled, measured, deliberate. One wrong move, and the stone cracks. But in her hands, it's a masterpiece. She slips it into a hide pouch beside dried meat and an old shell she's kept for years. No one knows why. It just feels important. Two men crouch beside a fire, boiling water in a bark container using heated rocks. They're trying something new, infusing herbs, perhaps. Maybe a medicine. Maybe a mistake. But they're experimenting, learning, not just repeating, innovating.
And under a tree, away from the clamor, an old woman sings softly to herself. Her voice is thin, but the tune is ancient, older than language. A lullaby passed from mother to daughter through ice ages and migrations. It calms the baby on her back, even though the child doesn't understand the words. Understanding comes later. Now is for instinct. Above them, vultures still circle. Predators still watch from the edge of the forest. The world is never safe, but it's also never still. Every hour brings a task, not because of a boss or a bell, but because nature demands it. The fire must be fed. The tools must be checked. The children must be watched. The weak must be tended. The weather must be read. From cloud shape, from bird flight, from the twitching of animal ears. Because out here, the smallest clue might save you or bury you. But what's remarkable, what most forget, is that these people didn't live in constant fear. Yes, they knew danger, but they also knew rhythm, purpose, pride. They moved through the day not just with caution, but with meaning. Because every spear sharpened, every root dug, every shelter built was for someone else. A child, a mate, a tribe. They worked not for survival alone, but for one another. And that's what made them more than animals. That's what made us, us. By late afternoon, the light begins to shift. Shadows grow longer. The golden warmth of the sun stretches across the plains like a soft farewell. It's a cue, not spoken, not agreed upon, but felt. The day is closing. Small tasks are finished. Spears are returned to their resting places. Hides are folded. Children are gathered in from the edge of the trees where they've been pretending to stalk mammoths or chase birds. Even play
is a rehearsal for survival. A young girl, no older than 6, braids fibers from a plant she's just learned to recognize. Her older brother shows her how to twist it tight, strong enough to bind a spearhead. These are the quiet hours of apprenticeship. No classrooms, no blackboards, just eyes and hands, repeating what others do, watching, mimicking, becoming. In another part of the camp, a man rubs ochre onto a wall, mixing pigment with spit and ash, turning the rock into a story. Around him, shapes form. Animals, tracks, a circle of dots, a handprint. Not decoration, documentation. This is their memory, their myth, their way of saying, we were here. Not just alive, aware. Cave walls became their history books. And around the fire, a different ritual begins. Food is shared, not equally, but fairly. The elderly get first bites, a mark of respect. Children are fed next. Hunters eat last. Not because they are less important, but because they are strong enough to wait. It's an honor to carry hunger when others are full. And this creates something rare in the wild. Trust. A baby cries and her mother comforts her with a hum that's more vibration than melody. 2 men argue over a hunting route, voices rising, then settling. A third, older, says nothing, just looks at the sky. A moment later, the others quiet too, because sometimes silence says more than shouting. Above them, the stars began to bloom. These people, these cavemen, knew those stars by heart. They followed their movement across the seasons, predicting rain, cold, migration. Each spark in the sky was a sign, a map, a reminder of the vastness they were part of. And in that vastness, they found their rhythm. Wake, work, protect, teach, dream. They didn't name the constellations, but they knew them. Because they didn't need names to feel wonder. They only needed each other and the sky. As the stars scattered like dust across the night sky, a hush settled over the land. It was a silence not of absence, but of presence, like the world itself was listening. The kind of silence that makes you aware of your own breath. A few fires still crackled, casting soft orange halos against cave walls. Shadows danced across stone, echoing the gestures of ancestors long gone. In one corner, an elder drew lines in the dirt with a charred stick, tracing the journey of a hunt, or maybe a dream. Children sat close, not daring to interrupt. To them, it was magic. This is how knowledge was passed, not with sermons, but with stories. No one read, no one wrote, but everyone remembered. Nearby, a girl watched her mother weave a sling from sinew and bark. Not a toy, not art, a weapon. Tomorrow, they would hunt birds, and this tool, spun between fingers, could mean the difference between hunger and survival. In another place, a boy pressed his hand against a cave wall and blew ochre across it, leaving behind the most ancient signature known to man. Not for fame, not for art, just to say, I was here. That handprint could still be seen today, buried beneath layers of time and dust. A message from a child who never imagined the future, who never knew the word future, but still left something behind. Because that's what humans do. Even without language,
They tried to say something, to mark a moment, to not be forgotten. The night deepened. Wolves howled in the distance. Owls blinked from high branches. But within the tribe, there was peace. A child curled beside his father. A woman slept with her hand on her sister's back. The fire popped once, then quieted. And above them, the stars moved. The same stars you see now. That's the haunting, beautiful truth. They were us. Same bones, same fears, same love.
They didn't know the words for civilization or progress, but they built the foundation for both. They fought for survival, not just against beasts or cold, but against loneliness, against silence, against forgetting. They sang so the night would know their names. They painted so the earth would carry their dreams. And when they slept, they dreamed not of gods or power, but of food, warmth, safety, and each other. Because in the end, that's all that mattered, and all that still does. Dawn breaks slowly, not with color, but with movement. A stir in the trees, the soft shuffle of bare feet against earth. A low grunt as someone rises from sleep, stretching their limbs beneath the weight of another hard-earned morning. The fire is only embers now. Someone feeds it. Someone else checks the drying meat. Another gathers water from the stream. And just like that, the cycle begins again. But something has changed, subtly, imperceptibly. A child who couldn't walk yesterday now takes 2 unsteady steps. A woman who feared the cold has learned to layer fur in new ways. A hunter sharpens his tools, not out of ritual, but because his aim is improving. This was the rhythm of early human life. Not days filled with drama, but with thousands of quiet victories. Little shifts that stacked over generations would alter the world. You see, when we think of cavemen, we picture brutality, simplicity, grunts and clubs and cave drawings. But the truth is richer, more human. They made decisions. They mourned losses. They passed on ideas without ever writing them down. They discovered how to ferment food, how to trap fish, how to follow stars. They began to bury their dead, not out of necessity, but out of respect. They didn't build cities, but they built meaning. Every tool was a leap forward. Every song hummed into the wind was a form of hope. Every moment they endured was a message to the future. To you. Because you are here, reading this, breathing, dreaming, because they lived. Because they refused to give up. Because they learned how to make a world out of wilderness. So when you ask, what did cavemen actually do all day? Remember this. They lived deliberately. Every task was survival. Every gesture was love. Every story told around a fire was a blueprint for the people yet to come. They didn't just make it through history. They made history. With bare hands, sharp eyes, tired backs, and unbreakable bonds. And though their names are gone, their legacy lives on in you. In every instinct, every heartbeat, every time you look up at the stars and wonder.